Imagine two people who are both mysterious, both rare, both endlessly complex. One sees the world through a lens of logic and strategy, the other through empathy and meaning. They share the same intuitive depth, yet they process life in dramatically different ways. When these two collide, the INFJ and the INTJ, the result can feel like destiny or disaster. Are they the perfect couple, or are they a ticking time bomb waiting to explode? Let's dive deep into the rare, fascinating, and often misunderstood bond between INFJ and INTJ. At first glance, INFJ and INTJ seem like soul twins. Both lead with introverted intuition, NI, that rare function that makes them visionaries, futurists, and deep thinkers. NI gives them the ability to spot patterns, sense possibilities, and anticipate outcomes far beyond the average person. Put two NI dominants in the same room, and you get conversations that spiral into metaphysics, hidden meanings, and visions of what life could be. It's almost telepathic. They don't need to explain every detail because both instinctively get the other's leaps of thought. This shared wavelength creates a powerful sense of recognition. It feels like, finally, someone who sees what I see. And that bond alone can form the foundation of an intoxicating connection. But the story doesn't stop there. Beneath this shimmering surface, the same similarity that unites them also conceals subtle differences that can either deepen the bond or crack it wide open. When logic meets feeling, here's where it gets complicated. While INFJ and INTJ share NI, their second functions couldn't be more different. INTJ lean on extrovert thinking, TI. They value efficiency, logic, structure, and clarity. If there's a problem, their instinct is to fix it, directly, bluntly, and without fluff. INFJ lean on extrovert feeling, FI. They prioritize harmony, values, and emotional well-being. Their instinct is to consider how everyone feels before moving forward. Now put those together. Imagine an INTJ and an INFJ planning a trip. The INTJ is focused on logistics. We need to book the flights now before the prices go up. The INFJ, meanwhile, is reading the emotional vibe. But wait, how will this affect everyone's mood? Will this feel right for all of us? To the INTJ, the INFJ might seem indecisive, too focused on feelings, even irrational. To the INFJ, the INTJ might feel cold, pushy, or dismissive of what really matters. This tension, T versus F, is often the heart of both their attraction and their friction. Because while they clash, they also secretly admire what the other brings. The INFJ brings warmth to the INTJ's icy precision. The INTJ brings structure to the INFJ's emotional currents. But here's the catch. Admiration easily flips into irritation when misunderstood. And when that happens, silence can become louder than words. The silence game. Both INFJ and INTJ are introverts. They need space, downtime, and a world away from people to recharge. That makes their relationship beautifully peaceful. No constant social obligations, no pressure to entertain. But it also creates one of their biggest pitfalls, silence in the wrong moments. When an INFJ feels hurt, they often withdraw into overthinking. They replay the moment, searching for hidden meaning, wondering if they did something wrong or if the partner no longer cares. Their F makes them crave reassurance, but they often won't ask directly. They wait for emotional cues. The INTJ, on the other hand, retreats for a different reason. When stressed, they shut down emotionally, not because they don't care, but because processing feelings internally is safer than talking. To an INFJ, that withdrawal can feel like abandonment. To the INTJ, it's just problem-solving in private. And so the cycle begins. The INFJ interprets silence as rejection. The INTJ interprets emotional questions as pressure. Both pull away, thinking the other doesn't understand. But here's the paradox. When they finally learn that silence doesn't equal disinterest and questioning doesn't equal criticism, the very dynamic that once caused pain can transform into a deeper trust. Because few things are more healing than realizing, you weren't leaving me. You were just recharging. Strengths that build together. When this couple gets it right, they are unstoppable. INFJ brings empathy. They remind the INTJ that people are not chess pieces, and that success without meaning feels hollow. INTJ brings structure. They remind the INFJ that dreams without action remain daydreams. Together, they create a rare balance: heart and mind, vision and execution, meaning and method. They can build empires, raise families with purpose, or support each other's growth in ways most other pairings can't touch. Picture this. The INFJ whispers, "I see a future where we create something meaningful." The INTJ replies, "Let's draw up the blueprint." That's the magic of their union. But even magic has shadows, because when their strengths aren't balanced, they can just as easily clash. Empathy smothering logic, or logic steamrolling empathy. Pitfalls and real challenges. Let's be real. This pairing isn't a fairy tale. It has very real landmines. Stubbornness. Both are judging types. Once they've decided something, good luck changing their mind. When two immovable forces meet, arguments can escalate into cold wars. Over intensity. Both dive deep, rarely staying on the surface. That can feel thrilling at first, but exhausting without breaks of lightness and play. Introversion squared. With two introverts, there's a risk of becoming isolated, living in a bubble, and letting the outside world drift away. That can make the relationship feel like an island, safe, but lonely. These challenges don't mean the relationship is doomed, but they require awareness. Because if left unchecked, stubborn silence or unspoken resentment can quietly erode what was once an intoxicating bond. Practical advice for a thriving pair. So, how do you make this relationship not just survive, but thrive? Name the differences. Acknowledge that INFJ warmth and INTJ bluntness are not flaws, they're functions. They reflect wiring, not personal attacks. Create communication rituals. Weekly check-ins, even 10 minutes, where each shares feelings without judgment. For INTJ, it's structured. For INFJ, it's emotionally grounding. Respect the retreat. When an INTJ withdraws, don't panic. When an INFJ seeks reassurance, don't dismiss. Learn each other's language of care. Build a shared vision. Use your shared-in superpower. Dream together. Whether it's a project, a lifestyle, or a long-term plan, co-create something that channels both heart and logic. Balance intensity with play. Go out, laugh, do silly things. Otherwise, the relationship risks becoming an endless loop of serious talks and future planning. When both partners consciously choose to meet in the middle, this pairing transforms. What once felt like a battlefield becomes a laboratory for growth. If you ask real INFJ, INTJ couples, the stories are striking. Many describe the connection as magnetic, almost fated. One INFJ wrote, "Being with an INTJ feels like being seen for the first time, but also challenged in ways I didn't know I needed." An INTJ echoed, "The INFJ makes me feel understood without words, but also forces me to face emotions I'd rather ignore. It's uncomfortable, but it's real." Not everyone thrives in this pairing. Some walk away, frustrated by the very differences that others find beautiful. But those who stay, they often describe it as one of the most profound relationships of their lives. So, are INFJ and INTJ the perfect match? The answer is both yes and no. They're not perfect because perfection doesn't exist, but they may be one of the most transformative matches, the kind where your sharp edges soften, your blind spots get exposed, and your dreams find a partner who knows how to make them real. In the end, the beauty of this relationship isn't in its symmetry. It's in its dance between similarity and difference, logic and emotion, silence and speech. Maybe perfection isn't about finding someone just like you. Maybe it's about finding the person whose differences force you to grow. And that's what makes the INFJ and INTJ couple unforgettable. If you're watching this and you're either an INFJ or an INTJ, drop a red heart in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe and comment. Do you think this pairing is the ultimate match or a recipe for chaos?